Glen Tanar Estate's an estate of just over 12,000 hectares. It's made up largely of about 10,000 acres of forestry and about 15,000 acres of open moorland, coupled with 4 salmon fishing beats. The furthest west upstream beat is the Headinch and Cambus O'May, followed by Dee Castle on the south bank, Waterside and Ferrar, Waterside being on the south side and Ferrar on the north bank, the left bank, and Craigendinnie, which Glen Tanar manages, on the south bank, which is just above a boyne. Headinch and Cambus O'May beat is about 3 miles long on the right bank and about 2.5 miles long on the left bank. Fishes 4 rods for most of the year, occasionally 5. It's a medium high water beat and seems to produce more fish in May and June than the early part of the season. My name's Colin Espie. I came to Glen Tanar Estate to start work as a 16-year-old in June 1970, and I came to Glen Tanar as a trainee gamekeeper, following in my grandfather's footsteps, who had been on the estate as a keeper back in the 1920s. The tweed I'm wearing is an individual tweed to Glen Tanar Estate. It identifies me as being an employee of Glen Tanar Estate. Each estate on Dee's side has its own individual tweed. There's some very, very good fly water on the Cambus O'May and Headinch beat. My favourite pool would probably be this pool here, the Tassoc pool. About 200 metres of fishing, not a particularly deep pool, but a pool that has very many lies in it, fishes equally well from both banks. Wading not as easy as some pools, but a very productive pool indeed. Probably the most striking feature of the Cambus O'May beat is the white suspension bridge, which was built in 1905 by, I believe it was a man by the name of Ferrar, whose company actually built the original lighthouse in the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa. And the only reason I know that is because I've been there, so I've seen it. The Dee Castle beat is a single bank, although they do have an agreement with the owners on the other side, so both banks are fished in the springtime as one beat. It's a beat that is about just over 3 miles in length, 22 named pools, has a fantastic variety of fly fishing pools. The pools are of such quality that it is very difficult for us to do justice to all the water in one single fishing day, even though we fish 3 rods in the 3 mile stretch. There's ample amount of fishing for all rods. The beat will actually produce fish right from the start of the season. Peak production time for the beat would probably be the second half of May, occasionally into the beginning of June if the water levels are suitable. And my favourite pool on the Dee Castle beat would probably be the Logie pool. The Logie pool is about a half a mile upstream of the Dinnet Bridge that goes across the river. Again, not the easiest of wading, but a very, very productive, beautiful piece of fly water. The Dee Castle beat has 3 huts on the beat. The estate is investing quite a large sum of money in building a brand new fishing hut, which will be state-of-the-art. I believe it is to be carbon neutral in its design. So the owners are quite proud of what they're actually doing and are continuing to invest in new huts on all 4 of the Glen Tanar fishing beats, in fact. Waterside and Ferrar have a double bank, left and right bank. A beat is just short of 2 miles in length. Generally speaking, it is a low water beat, but it does have one very, very good high water pool, and that is the Waterside Pool itself. The wading is generally much the same as the rest of the Middle Dee. There are some challenging bits and some bits with what I like to classify as rough gravel. The Waterside beat will fish beautifully in low water for either spring salmon, but in particular it is renowned as a very productive sea trout beat. Quite a shallow beat with the exception of the Waterside Pool itself, so fishing in June, July, I would certainly consider spending a bit of time fishing for sea trout. The Waterside Pool is overlooked on the south bank by a beautiful fishing hut, quite an old fishing hut, and it is commonly known as the Gin Palace. The biggest salmon that I've seen landed, had anything to do with whatsoever, was a fish that weighed approximately 35 pounds. It was quite a number of years ago now. That was actually on the Waterside beat. He was certainly congratulated, and I think the Gin Palace was well named that afternoon. The Craigendinnie beat, the very top pool on the beat, is probably some of the most interesting fly water on that particular beat. It produces quite a lot of salmon, and the wading is not too difficult. It is a very productive pool from both banks, but more so from the right bank. And there is another quite a feature on the bottom pool on Craigendinnie, the Lorne Pool. And near the top of the pool there is a small buttress, for the want of a better word, which was built by the then Laird Sir William Cunliffe Brooks. And one day he had arrived down at the river and found his ghillie fast asleep on the riverbank. And the ghillie was told not to go near the river until he was told to. And this buttress was built, and in the middle of the buttress there's a huge block of granite, flat top block of granite, on top of which is inscribed "Dry lines, no fish." Glen Tanar Estate can provide a number of holiday cottages that the families or fishing parties can stay in. There are a wide variety of activities, including on the estate there's an equestrian centre for pony trekking or even riding lessons for that matter. Local bike hire, walking in the Old Caledonian Forest, of which Glen Tanar has the second largest area in the country. It's around about the 2,500 acres, I believe. And we also have on the estate, on the rare occasion that we're unable to fish in the river, we have a stocked trout loch, which we are able to fish 3 boats. It's all boat fishing, and 2 rods on each boat. Glen Tanar are investing an awful lot of money and effort into trying to produce a customer satisfaction effect. On the Dee Castle beat in particular, I don't think we've had a complete tenancy change for about 14 years now. So we've been very fortunate that most of our tenants come back year on year. Of the other beats, there are an occasional change, but generally speaking, we have a very high percentage of our fishing clients come back year after year after year. They return largely because of the amount of fishing that each rod has available to them on a daily basis, and it is beautiful quality fly water. It is difficult to surpass the quality of the fly water in the Middle Dee here.